teeth into. And you know that I never do this alone, not one bit. I mean, I can't be happier to let you know that joining me this morning to talk about the sport news, everything in between, share banter, and so on and so forth. The one, the only, Tega Supreme. Tega, good morning to you.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody. I don't like the way people call my name these days. You have to add champion somewhere before, after, within. Just
Add to
find a
mine
way.
as well now. Add
I
to
beg
mine as
travel.
well.
Please, please, please,
Ah,
please,
we're
please.
all champions now.
Women's African Cup of Nations. Did you hear what I said?
Nigerian women, Nigerian, I'm Nigerian.
Women's Africa. When you people reach final, we cried and came back. Now we reach final. We came back with trophy. I don't want to hear any noise. Please, please. Champions first. All right. Okay, so we'll talk about the Women African Cup of Nations and Mission X. We'll also touch on the women's Euros because
Mm,
in African Cup of Nations it was the best team that won. But we can't say the same about the Euros. So we'll get
I
to that.
agree.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. Also, we'll talk about F1 and what is happening with Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris in that McLaren battle. Then we'll touch a little bit on some of your teams. Some of your teams have started playing friendlies after all the buys. Want to see how your teams will take shape. We saw
Mm,
a few teams over the weekend. First of all, that is not to say that that is how the season will turn out.
right.
Because some people, they perennially win during the preseason. When season starts, they'll start talking about how beautiful their football is.
Hmm.
And they will not be counting trophy.
I wonder who they are.
I wonder who those people are. We'll find out when we start talking about all of them, all right? So European football, Women's African Cup of Nations, Women's Heroes, F1, and if we have time, we'll touch a little bit on tennis on the locker room today. But before we talk about any sports, just tell everybody, Ayokumi, how they can be a part of the locker room this morning.
All right, the locker room this morning, once again, is going to be a strictly YouTube affair. So please do bear with us. Do bear with us on that front. But hey, we love the YouTube family already, so more people can join in and get into what we do in the background. So YouTube, you can find us at Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Leave all your comments in the chat box. Get your front row seats to all the action as we get into things. Now, let us begin talking about the Super Falcons of Nigeria. They came from 2 goals down to defeat Morocco 3-2 in the final of the Women's Africa Cup of Nations at the Olympic Stadium in Rabat on Saturday night. Mission X accomplished, Tega.
Yes, Mission X accomplished. All right. So they went out, they set out for their 10th title and they won it. But let me just even address some issues because, sometimes people watch football and they just use the same analogy or the same sense across all football. Women's football is different from men's football. That's the first thing you need to know. It's two different sports. The rules are the same, but it's completely different sports. All right. That's number one. Number two, just because you know football, when you watch women's football, you cannot use the same analogy. And I was trying to explain this to people. They're like, oh, um, I've been watching football, the way passes are going. Let me tell you one other thing that people have done. Because a lot of people watch European football, they just assume that that's the best way to play football. Football is played in different
Right.
ways. If you go to South America, it is skills and physicality. If you come to America, it is physicality and some dribbles. If you go to Europe, it is not even about talent anymore. It's about how you fit as a piece of a puzzle.
Mm-hmm,
So the
mm-hmm.
fact that you are used to European football doesn't mean that that's how football should be played or that's the best way to play football. I hate getting into that bottom barrel argument about, the passes are not. That's not how football is played across board. So when you were watching the African Women's Cup of Nations and watching the Women's Euros, they played football differently, right? Trying to use your Arsenal mind to analyze Super Falcons is not a failure of the Super Falcons. It's a failure of your mindset about football. Let me just clear that. so that you don't come out and you start watching different sports and start using European football mindset. That's the first thing. And because of that, I saw a lot of wrong analysis. Oh, the girls don't do this. The girls are not doing that. They are not supposed to. That's not how the football is played across board. That's how they play football in Europe. That doesn't mean that's
Mm.
how they play football in Africa. Okay, so let's stop that first of all. But secondly, let's focus on the game now. I think when they got into the game, Justin Madugu got everything wrong for
Right.
the first 45 minutes. He got everything wrong. And I will tell you why. You're playing against Morocco, and for some reason, he felt that he needed to sit off of Morocco because his players had possession, but they were sitting a little deep. Now, the Nigerian team that the way he's been playing his game before is that from the blast of the whistle, the Super Falcons just attack. But for some reason, when Morocco had the ball, he had his players moving back and falling into position. Now, I understand that because Morocco plays through spaces, he was trying to be compact. But when you sit back against a team that plays in spaces, what you do is you give them opportunity to attack them more. And
Right.
that's why Morocco looked like the better team in the first 45 minutes because Nigeria was sitting back trying to be compact. And so the Moroccans were like, they're not attacking us, see space. And they just started running at us. And that led to one mistake and the first goal, and then the second mistake and the second goal. It was a poor start. But in the second half, I think and I think this is one of the good things about Madugu because he's not ashamed or afraid to change.
Yeah.
Because when we started this tournament, remember, he started with the likes of Christy Uchebe, Asisa Toshwala, the
Mm.
Odega, the usual suspects. And then when the goals started drying up in the Botswana game and in the Algeria game, he changed it. So players like Echegini, Jennifer Echegini, Messi Okoronkwo, Ihezwo, started playing Folashade Jamilusi started playing more minutes, and that's when we started scoring buckets of goals. We scored the 5 against Zambia and went on from
Yeah.
there. So he's not a man that is afraid to make change, which is good. The good news for the Super Falcons was that the damage wasn't really done in the first half, but his approach in the first 45 minutes was poor. Second 45 minutes, he changed it. If you remember from the before the whistle went, Esther Korokwa was ready to move, and the referee said, "Come back. They have not blown the whistle. Stand here. Don't rush. Let your blood be calm. Stand here." And then when she blew the whistle, the Nigerians attacked from the first moment. And the minute they started pressing the Moroccans, you saw how the Moroccans buckled. So Madugo was the error that we made in the first 45 minutes. And of course, Echejine didn't start, and so without Echejine in her position, Echejine is a more forward player. When you play Deborah Biodun and Halimatu Ayinde, they tend to sit back a little more. But Echegini will enter anywhere. And so when with her on the pitch, Nigeria is a little more fluid in their attacks going forward. So he was able to make those changes, and the Super Falcons were able to win Mission X. But it wasn't that the Super Falcons didn't know what to do, is that they set up poorly. And so when I saw all those analyses, and these girls look flat-footed, or these girls know, I'm just like, have people been watching this tournament, or you're using your Chelsea mind to come and analyze Super Falcons? Don't do that. Let's try to watch each continent as they go. All right. So the
Mm.
Super Falcons were able to accomplish their mission. They've gotten their 10th title. Unfortunately for Morocco, back to back losses.
At home.
That can be at home. That can be very heartbreaking. Back to back losses. They lost to South Africa 2022 final. They've lost to um, Nigeria 2024 final, and they are the ones giving us their infrastructure. Remember?
Exactly. Bridesmaids, but never the bride.
Yeah,
So,
that's so sad. That's just
mm,
so sad. Mm.
really and
All right.
truly, but
Let's go to Europe and see what the women there did.
Let's head over to Europe, where Chloe Kelly converted the decisive kick as England beat Spain 3-1 on penalties to lift the Women's Euro 2025 trophy after Sunday's game had finished 1-1 at the end of extra time, allowing the Lionesses to avenge their defeat in the World Cup final 2 years ago and retain their continental crown. Teka, before you say anything, I will say what you said about women's penalties. Goodness gracious.
Oh, so I'm telling you, I look, these people, first of all, they don't even practice, and you don't excel when you don't practice. So the first thing is with men, penalties is a strategy. With women, not necessarily so. And that's something that women's game needs to evolve in. They're always looking for how they can play the game and just win, and go where they're going to, especially the Spanish team. And that's why they were creating a plethora of chances and not scoring. When somebody said when you go to the finals is not about playing football, it's about winning. and
Mm,
and yes, that is what it really is, because that's what England went to do. They couldn't match Spain normally, from player to player, from possession to possession. However, they played their football right down to the tools that they had.
yeah.
They were able to defend. The Spanish team, if you watch the Spanish team, in their minds, I think in the back, somewhere in the back of their minds, they always anticipated that they were going to score, because they kept playing like, don't worry, we are going to score this goal and win this match. And England was like, nah, you're not.
We're not going to allow
and,
anything like that.
and dragged it all the way to penalties. Now, that's not to say that the English just sat deep. When they had their fast breaks, when they had their opportunities, they got to Spain, and Cotabo was able to save some shots. But ultimately, it was the way the Spanish approached the game. They kept playing at their pace, as if there was no urgency, and they were made to pay for it later. So, of course, when it got down to penalties, it now became a lottery. And with women's football, especially European women's football, because even in Africa, they started using penalties as strategies. But in Europe, especially women's football in Europe, they don't. And that's something that needs to evolve too. So the penalty shootout came, and players like Aitana Bonmati missed their spot kicks. It was ridiculous to watch.
Mm,
But ultimately, England have won. And so all the drama that came with England to this tournament, remember how players were leaving the team, how there were talks, rumors about um, the problems that they had in the locker room and all of that. All of it has been suspended for now. For now, everybody is celebrating a trophy. And Serena Bigman's job looks like it is safe. But we wait to see, because the thing with the English is that they can be happy with you today, and tomorrow they will crucify you. That's just how it goes. Okay, so
just
today
like
they're
that.
celebrating. Today they're celebrating a trophy with Serena, but if she doesn't continue in that vein, and if it continues to look like more players are leaving the team, then she may have to leave.
Mm. But hey, I
Mm.
will say before the break that Serena Bigman, kudos to her. Three women's Euros 2017,
Yep.
22, and 25. It's not beans.
It's
It's
not, no,
not.
no, no. She is obviously one of the best coaches. She is obviously one of the best coaches around. It's just that you know how it is. Some people may not like her style, and whether you like it or not, it is going to be a thing when a foreign coach comes into a country that has other coaches, and people start asking, "Oh, why are you not hiring local?" So Serena Vigman is facing it. Thomas Tuchel will face it, especially if he doesn't bring results. And so ultimately, this is going to happen. But she is one of the best coaches around, and that's why she's been able to win 3 Euros with two different teams.
Amazing stuff. All right, let's take a very quick breather. When we come back in, we'll dive into more stories, probably F1 here and so much more. The locker room smooth 98.1. Don't go anywhere. Message is choke on YouTube.
Don't mind them. Come and be dragging me. I was just like, why are people arguing like this now?
I mean,
You're watching Arsenal are coming to use your Arsenal mind to come and analyze women's
I
football.
mean,
It's like that.
I have to give I have, I have to give the coach props because I mean he switched things up in that second half. Second half, that first half was
No, no,
and
no. He made a
the goals were so
stupid
cheap
mistake.
at the end of the
He,
day.
yes, he made a stupid mistake. That mistake of sitting back in the first 45 minutes. He was sitting off the players. I was just like, what are you doing, coach?
There was
What are
really no
you
need to
doing?
do that. Follow
No,
them. Let me
I
say
think
this
he was
thing.
respecting the Moroccans a little too much.
It could have been worse.
It
It could
could
have
have
been
been
worse
worse.
than that
We could
because
have chopped like 3 or 4 in that
e-
first half.
ex- exactly.
And it would have been game over. And then people start saying, "Oh, these Nigerians don't know how to do this." They won't understand that it was the tactics that the coach employed in that first 45 minutes.
Hmm. Should I take a few
It
messages
was
before we get back in?
Yes, so we'll take a few messages. We may even leave that formula, or we'll browse through Formula One.
Okay. All right.
Mm.
Welcome back into the locker room on a Monday morning. This is Smooth 98.1. We love music. We love life. Most definitely having a great time talking about what's been going on in the world of sports over the weekend. My name is Ayokumi Kekirieko. And of course, we have Campione Tega Supreme also. Yes, she said she wants to be addressed as champion, and I will address her thusly. Tega, welcome back into the show. You can join us on YouTube, please. Send those messages in on YouTube. Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Smooth 981 FM Lagos. That is the platform. Let me take a few messages here. Oluwaseun says, up Super Falcons. Abimbola Shokoya says, Tega, now who win? The Lionesses deserve their victory. Well, I guess at the end of the day, I think carry trophy. Ibrahim Hassan says, you have started a bit, Tega, but God day. Anyhow, congratulations to the Falcons for the well-deserved victory. I want to believe it has to do with Arsenal. Okay. Uchina says, a great performance by the Super Falcons. Lovely win by the girls from England. United making the right moves and playing well. Arsenal has a wonder kid. Max, what's a player? United, we are get a 9. Do you have money, Uchina? Do you have money? Anyways, keep those messages coming in. All right, Tega, let's just breeze through what happened in Belgium. Oscar Piastri, he turned disappointment into motivation and he produced an impressive drive to his sixth victory of the season in the Belgian Grand Prix.
Oh yes, that was so. The battle is no longer about whether McLaren is winning; is which driver in McLaren is winning.
Mm,
they are they are so far ahead of everybody. I think in the constructors championship they're about 200 points above the next set of people. Above Ferrari, who are in second place. So that's gone. But the battle is between Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri, and this one was tough because during qualifying it was Lando Norris this weekend that got pole position. Unfortunately for him, the weather had changed from Saturday to Sunday. Saturday was cool, dry conditions. Sunday, the rain that fell. In fact, the race was even delayed because the rain was too much. They had come out behind the safety car. Then they red flagged the race. They're like, we can't drive in these conditions. And
mm,
then they came out again and they drove a few laps behind the safety car before the race started. And so this was wet conditions. Now, Lando Norris is good, but if you're talking about drivers that thrive in wet conditions, I don't think his name will be at the top of the list. You'll be talking about the Lewis Hamiltons who made several overtakes because Lewis Hamilton started from the pit lane and finished in seventh. He
mm,
started from the he started from the pit lane and finished that race in seventh position. He also thrives, in wet conditions. You'll be talking about the Max Verstappens. They thrive in wet conditions, but not especially Lando Norris. And so when he started in pole, he started off well because they had a rolling start. He started off well. He left when he was supposed to leave, but he now made a mistake just in the, before he came to the end of the first lap. He snapped into water and he had to get his car back before he skid off the road. That
mm,
singular mistake was what made Oscar Piastri to get close to him and then overtake him. And Oscar Piastri overtook him and did not even look back. It was it was too beautiful to see. He overtook him, did not look back, and then when they were making the tire changes, they now gave Lando Norris the tires that will last him longest. They gave him the hard compound tires, which meant that he may start a little slower, but towards the end, because his tire is stronger, he was going to have more grip and he was going to be able to challenge. And he was charging. But I like the way Piastri is. You see, I think I'm going to have to study some of these Australians, the way they behave. Because he did not make any noise. Even if his engineer was telling him that, look, oh, your battery is lower than Lando Norris' own, he said, thank you for the information. Your tire is wearing faster than Norris's own. Thank you for the information. He did not throw any tantrum. He did not argue. He just focused on his focus. And so everybody was shouting about, oh, Lando Norris may catch up with him towards the end of the race. No sound from Oscar Piastri. He didn't even say, I want to drink water. Nothing. He just went quietly. It was when he got to the end of the race that he started talking. So I think what it is ultimately, that battle is going to come down to who can hold their nerves better. And right now, it's looking like Oscar is holding his nerves better because Lando Norris has eaten into the points and it was an 8 points gap between the both of them. But now he has extended that to a 16 points gap. So that fight is going to be between the McLaren drivers. Everybody else is fighting for third and fourth.
Everybody fighting for what is left. 1 and 2, put it low, as they say. All right, Tega, let's quickly talk about what's going on in the world of tennis. Yannick Sinner, he has reappointed fitness coach Umberto Ferrara, with whom he parted ways following the investigation into his positive tests for a banned substance. What is the Sinner up to?
I think that, so again, these are the things that make Sinner questionable. So remember, just to give you a cover story, he failed 2 drug tests. They now claim that it was because his physiotherapist applied some treatments to him without using his hand gloves. That's why there was transference of the banned substance in his system. Ultimately, he fired at the alleged physiotherapist for the wrong job, only for him to now rehire the same guy again. So how do you say you are not guilty of doping and you're hiring the guy that put you in a situation where your character was questionable? So some people feel, you know how they say it in the street, some people feel like Sinner has carried us handicap. That's what it feels like. That's what it feels like now. It's almost as if he told the guy, go when the heat is over, take the fall and go. When the heat is over, come back. That's what it's looking like. Because if this is the guy that caused you to fail two drug tests, and then you're hiring him again after firing your previous physiotherapist for no reason at all, then it raises the question that, was it really transference or was it deliberate doping? These are questionable things. You can't tell me you're giving, oh, everybody deserves a second chance with your career. You failed 2 drug tests. People are still people are still questioning how you were able to negotiate your dope test, and then you now hire the guy that you claim made you fail the drug test. If it smells like fish, it's fish. That's all I'm going to say.
Man, Yannick Sinner is not doing himself any favors whatsoever. Anyways, let us leave that for now and let's get back into the world of football. Talk about a couple of friendlies that were played over the weekend, preseason friendlies. And Martin Odegaard's spot kick in the 84th minute extended Arsenal's preseason winning run in Singapore after they beat fellow English Premier League side Newcastle 3-2 at the National Stadium in Singapore on Sunday evening.
All right. And so friendlies are supposed to give you like an inclination into what the team will do, especially with their new buys the next season. And what Arsenal has showed us is that the season has changed, but the problems are still the same. Defensively, Arsenal is very vulnerable. First of all, Calafiori went down during that friendly. I remember for most of last season, he was injured.
Right.
So he picked up another knock. Let's just call it knock. In that match. So same old, same old. That's number one. But the first goal that Arsenal conceded in the 6 minutes against Newcastle, it was Elanga, their new buy for Newcastle, that scored. It was the same kind of goals Arsenal has conceded. People running into the box and nobody picking them up. So when you watch the game, you see that goal being scored again. It was exactly the same kind of goal that Dembele scored against Arsenal. Remember,
Yeah.
they're running into the box. Declan Rice leaves Ousmane Dembele. He's not covering Ousmane Dembele. He's not following Ousmane Dembele. The ball drops to him. He scores. Arsenal is out of the Champions League. That was the exact same kind of goal that Elanga scored. The ball goes to the corner. Players run into the box. Nobody picks up Elanga. He scores. So it's the same kind of mistakes that Arsenal is making. So yes, they ended up winning the match by 3 goals to 2. Yes, Arsenal created a lot of chances and they could have scored more goals. But ultimately, if the problems are still the same as last season, then all the job they did in the transfer didn't change.
Hmm. Oh well.
Same old,
This
same
is
result.
this is why preseason is there to address these issues. Hopefully, Mikel Arteta will be able to address them before the start of the season, come August 16th. All right, let's head over to Spain. Well, not Spain specifically, but Barcelona. And Marcus Rashford, he made his first appearance for Barcelona in a 3-1 preseason win over J-League side Vissel Kobe in Japan on Sunday, coming on as a sub.
I want to say it was the weirdest look I'd ever seen. You know, Marcus Rashford in a Barcelona jersey, it was the weirdest look. Again, I still don't understand the the thought process behind buying Marcus Rashford. Not necessarily because he's the worst player there is, but I mean, the results and the way he's played in the past 3 years, he's not the kind of player that you expect Barcelona to go for. But they've gotten him, and he played in the first game. Didn't look any different, wasn't too exceptional, but that's what's to be expected. He's
Mm,
changing leagues. He's coming from England to Spain. There's still going to be that adapting process.
definitely.
Okay, so I don't want to judge him too harshly, but I don't see what he's bringing. That's my point. It's not the worst buy, but I don't see the X factor that he's bringing to the Barcelona side. So maybe I give him a few more months to see what he can do, but I still don't get the rationale behind it. Albeit Barcelona, same old, playing their brilliant football. I think that for me, I can't wait to see the showdown of what Real Madrid will look like this season under Xabi Alonso, because that's where the fight is. I know what Barcelona can play, but I want to see what Real Madrid can play against with Xavi Alonso. I think that determines who wins the title this season.
Mm, most definitely. It's going to be interesting to see how that fight plays out in Spain. All right. Still talking about friendlies here. Man United boss Ruben Amarim, he praised on captain Bruno Fernandes after the midfielder scored twice in a 2-1 preseason win over fellow Premier League club West Ham United at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey on Saturday.
All right. Again, my assessment of these people are still the same. I don't know that Amorim has done anything fantastic. Did you watch the game, right? I don't know that he has done anything fantastic with that team. I'm not saying that's not to say they're going to have as horrible a season as they did last year, but nothing dramatically has improved in Manchester. In fact, I'm going to start a poll now. Will Ruben Amarim? I'm starting that poll now. Will Ruben Amorim last till the end of the season at Manchester United? My answer is no. We are going to start a poll to see when he'll be fired, before Christmas or just after the new year. I'm not sure he will last all season. I've not seen any dramatic improvement, and there's only so much you can give a guy, especially with a club that doesn't have so much money and they're
Yeah.
spending to improve the team, but the results don't seem to be dramatically changing. I
Mm.
don't think he'll last to the end of the season. Those are my thoughts. Let me hear your thoughts in the comment section. What do you think? How long will Ruben Amarim last at Manchester United? Let's take those messages.
Let's take those messages, right? Jumping into YouTube. Okay, let me see. Where do I begin from? Okay, Richard says, Kai, this early morning, Mama T, don't throw stray bullet, give Arsenal. We will shock you people this season. Well, I mean, if you're like Nepa, I don't know if you're going to shock anybody. This is
Shock us, oh, shock us. Please, we want to be shocked.
this is from Ugudipe Oluwaseun. says, "Good morning, my guys at the locker room, especially Tega the Tiger. How about me? How about me?" Anyways, the football weekend was outstanding, including the sports weekend. I want Oscar Piastri to win this year's Formula One season. EPL this season is going to be war. And Iron Fedada says, "Campeones, campeones." I get you. I
Ole,
get you.
ole, ole.
Charles Judice says, "Football remains a game of two halves. You might be outstanding in the first half, but you never know what your opponent is pulling out of their hats in the second 45 minutes. And that being said, the Super Falcons have proven that if you go searching for your ex, you will find them." Ah. Taya says, "Congrats to England. I thought 100 penalties might happen before the winner emerged. Congrats, Super Falcons. The squad is on mission X, and people laser and two goals laser and 2 goals down. Remontada lives. Ty, I'm not sure what you meant by that. Adifemi
Remember
Mafe says,
lasers. Remember they were flashing lasers in the girls'
okay,
faces
okay,
when
okay,
they are.
okay, yes. That's,
Yes.
in fact, that one.
In fact, they had to
Uh,
make an announcement at the stadium that if they see lasers coming from your direction, they were going to escort you out. But I was looking at that crowd. I was like, how many people do you want to catch?
I
You should have
mean,
stopped it at the gate.
well, people can hide things in very, very private areas, if I
That's
can
why
put
you
it that way.
search. After all, they pat me down at the airport. They should pat everybody down.
Adefemi Mafe says, rumor has it the Ghanaians and South Africans are still crying over Nigeria's win over Morocco, more than the
I
Moroccans.
agree. I agree. They're still
Then
crying.
Amibola says, Sin Agbewa handicap, almost serious handicap. Oh. So it's a serious, serious handicap. Richard Denira says, while I agree that there's no general way of playing football for women, we have to agree that a team should understand basic passing, shooting, and dribbling skills, which I didn't see
And they
with the
have that.
Falcons.
You didn't see it because you were not watching. You watched one game and you came here. Sorry, you watched 145 minutes and you came and started making assessments. The passes that they made or to score all their goals or to play their match, you didn't see those passes and those basic touches. Yes, there were some touches that, of course, people make mistakes with, and you see that in every kind of football. But if you judge the Super Falcons on the first 45 minutes, then I can't help you. You came to an uninformed assessment. A poorly informed assessment. If you did you not see the basic passing and touching in the second half? Was it not the
Mm.
same players? Do you understand?
Yeah,
So
yeah, I get what you mean,
again,
Jacob.
you cannot don't if you don't watch women's football, don't make assessments. Just leave it. Somebody even actually had the nerve to say Morocco is a better team than Nigeria based on that 45 minutes. Morocco that we watched all through the tournament. In fact, Ghana that we beat 3-0 almost knocked Morocco out.
All right, let me take a final message here. Abiola Isaac says the results notwithstanding, I think the match against Newcastle further exposes the job Arteta needs to still do. You cannot keep
Yep.
conceding silly mistakes and want to be a champion. Okay, that's from Zikolo. All right.
All right. So nobody's answering my question about Ruben Amorim. We'll take up that question on Wednesday because we really need to know if he will last till the end of the season. In fact, we should take a poll every week. Every week we'll do a poll. Is he getting fired this week or next week?
Is it
Once
that
the season
serious?
starts.
Is it that
Is that
serious?
serious? On that note, I want to thank you all for sending in your messages. Hopefully by Wednesday we'll have our WhatsApp working and our phone lines open. But till then, have a fantastic week.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you. Have a fantastic Monday and a fantastic week as well. And thank you all for being a part of the locker room this morning, Wednesday at 8:15. We will be back, most definitely. All right. Keep it tuned to the Smooth Breakfast, 9 o'clock. It's going to be a conversation on Lagos Talk. It's World Hepatitis Day. And trust me, there's information that you definitely need to know about.